Thank you, everyone, for coming. Um, this is such an exciting evening, Marlene. We are so happy to be here with you. I want to first introduce the people that are participating. Um, Most of the people are from Machar, besides Paul and I. In case you don't know who I am, I'm Miriam Jairus. I'm the rabbi of the Society for Humanistic Judaism. Elaine Dancis will be participating, and Rabbi Jeremy Kreidel, Deb Godden, Joyce Rosenthal, and of course, Marlene Cohen. We're going to start with a little Shabbat celebration. I am thrilled to be together with all of you to honor Marlene Cohen as the 2025 recipient of the Sherwin Tea Wine Lifetime Achievement Award. I want to welcome all of you who are attending from wherever you reside in the world, and especially a welcome to the members of Machar, the secular humanistic Jewish congregation of Greater Washington. Shabbat is a time of transition. We leave behind the worries and the concerns of everyday life, and we focus ourselves on the special Shabbat experience. We, at this moment, create an opportunity for community and appreciation. Let us pause and take note as we begin our celebration. Elaine.
The Shabbat candles stand before us as, as it did the lamps of our ancestors. As the light of today's as the light of today disappears, we light these candles to bring light to this gathering. We appreciate in this ancient ritual and make our unique contribution to the traditions of the Jewish people. Lador Vador, from generation to generation. Barach our Baalam, Barach our Adam, Barach our Bashabat. Radiant is the light in the world. Radiant is the light within people. Radiant is the light of Shabbat.
Thank you.
Okay. So before I do the blessing for wine, I just kind of wanted to say a little bit about Marlene from my perspective. Um, so I actually first met Marlene in 2014 when I was a rabbinical student, and she was enrolled in the same class that I was, Philosophic Guidance and Counseling, um, which basically means that I had a lot more homework than pretty much anybody else in the class because I was a rabbinical student, which seems fair in retrospect. Um, and a lot has happened in the interim, but I remembered Marlene because how can you not, right? Marlene's energy and enthusiasm and commitment were obvious, and they stood out even in a room full of people who were committed to humanistic Judaism. And I know that Marlene has kind of said, well, it's starting to feel like people are giving me a valedictory speech, but I'm not sure I'd be at Mahar without Marlene. So that alone, I think, is a kind of one of those signs of intergenerational connection that comes up when you're part of a movement that lasts over several generations. And so I hold up my wine glass here, and we raise this cup of wine mindful of all it took for us to receive it. We appreciate the sun and the rain, gifts of nature. We value the efforts of our fellow human beings, aware of the human sacrifice involved in producing it. We know that this wine exists because of the right amount of each element of nature combined with human effort. We are thankful for the endeavors of all human beings working responsibly with the natural environment to bring forth this wine. Bruchim ha'adama hashemesh geshem asher yotzrim pri hagafen. We rejoice in the earth, the sun, and the rain, which produces the fruit of the vine.
Thank you. Our past is a guide to our future. It is no sacred temple requiring reverence. It is no sacred book with immutable decrees. It is no sacred song with only one melody. It is a treasure of memories from which we can draw. It is a storehouse of wisdom from which we can borrow. It is a drama of endless creativity which we can imitate. We are always the bridge between the past and the future. We are always the continuity between old and the new. We do not betray the past by rejecting our roots. We do not betray the future by ignoring our needs. We pay tribute to both. We use the past to dream about our future. This is by Rabbi Sherwin Wine. I would like to take these few moments to remember those individuals who have passed away but are very much with us in our hearts and minds. Tonight, along with your loved ones, we especially remember Lifetime Achievement Award recipients who are no longer living. Marilyn Rowans, Bert Steinberg, Ben and Lorraine Pivnick, Jane Goldhammer, and Ruth Deskin-Feldman. Nikadav and Nikadash Beruach HaAdam, let us enhance and exalt ourselves in the spirit of humanity.
The award, the Sherwin T. Wine Lifetime Achievement Award, is presented annually to individuals who have, over the years, exemplified extraordinary dedication, devotion, adherence to, and activity in the secular humanistic Judaism movement and the philosophical doctrines enunciated by the movement's founder, Rabbi Sherwin T. Wine. The award, established by SHJ and past president Bert Steinberg of blessed memory in 2003, in honor of Wine's 75th birthday, represents Steinberg's heartfelt gratitude at finding a humanistic Jewish community that reflected his lifelong philosophy and unfulfilled need to become a bar mitzvah. Steinberg fulfilled his dream at the age of 72 under Wine's tutelage. The award has been given 19 times before today. The previous recipients include Marilyn Rowans, Bert Steinberg, Rabbi Miriam Jerris, Ben and Lorraine Pivnick, Jane Goldhammer, Bonnie Cousins, Shari Gelber, Deb Godin, Louis Altman, Esther and Ron Milan, Ruth Duskin Feldman, Dana and Rick Neymark, Larry Lawrence, Andrea Friedlander, Richard Logan, Carrie Shaw, Rabbi Eva Goldfinger, Devira and Michael Witkin, and Rabbi Mary Raskin. And before I turn it over to Rabbi Miriam to present the award, I just want to say a word from myself to Marlene. When I was thinking about how to describe Marlene, this phrase came into my head, uh, a real can-do attitude. And I immediately felt like, what am I, in like a 1940s film noir movie? I've never used that to describe anyone before, like a real can-do attitude. But I think it's really the best way to describe my experience of her. I've seen many lay leaders, I won't name names, who their default is we can't, right? We've tried it before and it can't be done, or how is that even possible? And I've always only experienced from Marlene, let's do it. Like, let's go do this. And it is so important and valuable. And I'm sure all the folks here at Machar understand this and have experienced this, and maybe, in fact, are even left exhausted by her abundant energy to want to get things done and to bring that enthusiasm that she does to everything she does. So thank you, Marlene, for always having that can-do attitude. And sometimes we actually do it, which is wonderful. So I appreciate you so much, and I think this award is well deserved.
Paul, will you spotlight Marlene too so I can
Of
see her
course.
face?
Maybe we should have had her spotlighted the whole time.
Oh,
Hang on one sec. Here we go.
yay, this is great. So, Marlene, it is a real honor to celebrate you and all of your dedication to humanistic Judaism. This is a well-deserved honor and a very special one. For at least a decade, when I have announced the current year's award recipient, someone has written me or called me and said, "What about Marlene?" So your contributions have been noticed for some time, and I am really happy to be able to manifest these requests tonight. Over the years, some of the recipients have articulated that they felt a bit of imposter syndrome. But if by any chance you are feeling that, I am here to tell you, you better not. This honor rightfully belongs to you. Marlene has a wonderful sense of humor. After I was ordained as a rabbi and she became involved in the SHJ, she began referring to me as SHJ's chief rabbi, which I have always accepted with amusement. Meanwhile, Marlene has been working both in her professional life and in humanistic Judaism. She was a professor of communications and later also director of the International Education Center of Prince George's Community College. Working with immigrant, visa, and asylee students, they taught her as much as she taught them. Their resilience was inspiring to her. In 1990, Marlene, Michael, and 3-year-old son Alex spent a year in Malaysia where she taught community college students preparing to complete their degrees in the United States. Marlene and Michael joined Machar in the late 1980s when Alex was just a baby. They searched congregational options and they found the perfect fit. Marlene taught at Machar's Sunday school and ultimately became the school principal. She joined the SHJ board as Machar's designated representative in 2007 and became chair of SHJ's Youth Ed Committee. In 2012, she joined the executive committee and became SHJ's board secretary. In 2021, a position that she still holds today. And that is just scratching the surface. I am really privileged to acknowledge Marlene as the 20th recipient of this award, and I will read the formal testimonial now. So, Marlene, I will also give this to you through the mail. Because Marlene Cohen has shown a commitment to humanistic Judaism and the future of the movement, because Marlene conscientiously dedicates herself to excellence in supporting the mission of the Society for Humanistic Judaism, because Marlene takes her responsibility as secretary of the SHJ board seriously, because Marlene Cohen is enthusiastically devoted to the education of both adults and children to achieve understanding of humanistic Judaism and its values, because Marlene's commitment to education encompasses her work as the former principal of the Machar School and in her professional life, because Marlene, as SHJ Education Chair, consistently finds way to encourage educators in the movement to come together to both increase their skills while creating a cohort of support for one another. Because Marlene graciously and consistently volunteers to serve on ad hoc committees, bringing her intelligence, passion, and caring to the table. Because Marlene Cohen is the kind of human being that endears her to so many. We, the leaders and members of the Society for Humanistic Judaism, are thrilled to name Marlene Cohen the 2025 recipient of the Sherwin T. Wine Lifetime Achievement Award. And this is a good time for all of us to go, yay, Marlene. And Marlene has the award. We got smart enough to be able to mail it, and there it is. So you have to put it right against you and not move it. There you go. It's lovely. Your name is also on our plaque in the SHJ office. Oh, look at that. People have applauses floating in the air, which is fantastic. In addition to the award, we also give a gift of Judaica. Now, Marlene is very difficult to give a gift to. I I gave her lots of choices. She found something that she really liked, and I know that it hasn't arrived yet, but I do have a photo that I'm going to share so everybody can see this wonderful Hanukkah, a ceramic piece of a village that I know you will think of us every time you light it, and it will come before Hanukkah. So we have other people who are wanting to share their thoughts and feelings with you today. And the first is Deb Godden, who is the 2011 Sherwin T. Wine Award recipient.
Marlene, I think back to the year 2000 and the IISHJ colloquium at Cooper Union in New York City. Marlene was running the school at Machar, the SHJ affiliate in DC. She was also teaching at Prince George's Community College and running an international center there. She was also beginning work on her doctorate. I am out of breath just thinking about it all. Well, I'm always out of breath these days. I was at that point still living in San Diego, adjusting to our recent retirement and getting used to, again, living in the United States. As it turned out, for both Marlene and me, the idea of connection, enabling, and communication, especially for education programs and educators, as well as exploring our humanistic Jewish identities, was a spark. A newly emerging practice of arranging a lunch table for educators on Saturday at any and all movement events was just becoming a thing. Leading up to the event this time was the creation of an email group to reach out to educators to facilitate their sharing of work and ideas with one another. Of course, Marlene popped up to the surface, a bubble of joy and energy, a spark. A precious friendship began that grew and still flourishes today, my friend. When David and I moved east to the DC area in 2003, we were welcomed by Machar and Marlene. Eventually, when her other work allowed her to join the SHJ board, Marlene sat next to me at meetings, still back then held in person, and helped me stay focused as I took minutes, which she now does. Our respective spouses are part of what feels like family, adding life-sustaining laughter and silliness, as well as caring during difficult times. Marlene and I came to secular humanistic Judaism from very opposite directions. Marlene having emerged from the practices of a relatively observant Jewish family, and I was and am Jewishly glot secular. Humanistic Judaism encouraged in each of us our social activism, our urge to repair the world. For both of us, maybe for different reasons, this awareness gave us satisfied sighs of relief. At the center, our drive to understand our Jewish identities, and the bedrock, our shared humanist values, and of course, the friendship, my friend.
Joyce is ready.
I'm ready.
Joyce is speaking on the part of Machar. Marlene requested you, and I think you still are vice president of
I am.
the congregation.
Yep, that's
That's
correct.
great.
Marlene, I am honored to be asked to speak about you. You have been an indispensable part of both Machar and SHJ, as well as a good friend. When Marlene first joined Machar, she helped our fledgling Jewish cultural school spread its wings. Marlene worked with, as other people have mentioned, Marlene worked with other parents to design a curriculum and eventually became the school's director. But even after the congregation was able to hire its own director, Marlene stayed involved. She kept on even after her own son had finished Mahar's Jewish Cultural School and Bar Mitzvah program. She became a Bar Mitzvah coach, helping countless students refine their Bar Mitzvah presentations into speeches their families were proud of. This is typical of Marlene, always stepping in to fill a breach or answer a need. When Machar needed someone to recruit and welcome new members, Marlene stepped up. This was a perfect job for her. She is one of the most warm and welcoming people I know. When Marlene greeted newcomers, they knew they came to the right place. But as gracious and accommodating as she is, Marlene also is not afraid to speak up when the occasion requires it. Whether it's the Women's March or a No Kings rally, Marlene is always right there with her fellow Macharniks to proudly proclaim that justice must be done. Outside of Machar, Marlene has dedicated her life to helping those who need it. Before retiring, as several have mentioned, she worked at the Prince George's Community College International Student Center. She helped foreign students find their way on campus and in the country. She often intervened on a personal level to help them find jobs or places to live. Many times she went well above and beyond her official duties to give her students a fresh start. On a personal note, Marlene is a great listener and the kind of friend you can always count on. When I was struggling to find performers for Machar's annual coffee house fundraiser, Marlene immediately signed up. She has returned each year, doing everything from reading humor essays to dragging her ever-so-game husband, Michael Kidwell, thank you, Michael, in to act in a skit or otherwise help out. One particular year during the pandemic, I was in despair at having to do the coffee house over Zoom. Marlene and Michael came through with a very entertaining slideshow about their life in a Hollywood RV park during a visit to their son in California. I still remember how the two of them gave us a great virtual tour of the inside of their RV, along with some very amusing outdoor decorations. Marlene, I'm really hoping you'll step up again this year and read out your Tom Lehrer essay. I hope this gives everyone a flavor for the amazing person that Marlene Cohen truly is. Marlene, we at Machar and all of us in the secular humanist Jewish community are very lucky to have you. Congratulations on this well-deserved Sherwin T. Wine Lifetime Achievement Award. Can't hear you.
Okay, Marlene. The stage is yours if you would like to unmute yourself.
Ooh, glass of wine. Thank
Oh,
you.
there you are.
Alexander's glass of wine going up there. Okay, I'm not muted. There we go. Got it. Uh-oh. Okay. Good. So, this is really cool. I have to say, it's one of those where you want to, I shouldn't do it, but you want to make the joke about like, is this my funeral? You know, this is crazy. Wow. Okay. So I get to be the 20th recipient of the Sherwin T. Wine Award. This is amazing. I'm so honored because Sherwin inspired me so much. And congratulations to SHJ, which is the Society for Humanistic Judaism, if I'm right, that you finally got a Kohen in the mix. I'm not sure about the people before me. You know, that priestly class. Finally, our select group is kosher. Well, I don't know about the first 19, but I am a Kohen. At least I guess I was a Kohen until I married a Kidwell instead of another Kohen. I've read that female descendants lose their privileges when they married, and they didn't get to pass down the title like the men did. So I can say I was a Jewish princess before there was a Jap kind of thing. But no one told me of my entitlements, so too late. When my husband Michael and I found Machar, which means tomorrow, the Washington, D.C. Community for Secular Humanistic Judaism, we were glad to find a place for our baby son Alex to learn something about being Jewish. We thought the WASP education would come through osmosis. Neither of us were worshipers, so the focus instead on Jewish learning and social action really added to the appeal. I later learned that this friendly group had a powerful reputation, well, inside SHJ only, frankly, for radical in-your-face politics. I actually think it was more that it was just so easy for us to get on a train to go to protests at the White House or the Capitol. With a big sign and a megaphone, we were in business for justice. We found a very warm and inviting group of people without class distinctions that I had seen in my hometown synagogue. We seldom even know the professions of our members, though in fact, many work for nonprofit social justice causes or are teachers, professors, policymakers, social workers, or union organizers. Our dues are low, yet we support those in need to pay less or not pay at all. We parents then were creating some of the school curriculum and Machar's services and programs ourselves, so highly involved. When we have issues to resolve, members discuss and listen reasonably. When we make a mistake, we take responsibility for it. No one says, the devil made me do it. We have very many lifelong friends from Machar. Also, in terms of Machar's beliefs, we are not committed to owning a building whose costs would put too much focus on the budget. And for a long time, we had no rabbi. From Machar's 1977 origin, the founders were strong, independent folks inspired by Rabbi Wein in Detroit, and gradually, we seem to be the congregation whose forthright views might in fact destroy a well-meaning rabbi. Yet, in 2017, we got the perfect rabbi, Jeremy Kreidel. Back at you, buddy. He wanted to work with the board to hear all of our views, to find compromises, and to protest in DC with us, because as a lawyer in government, he never got to do that. And his lawyer and computer tech backgrounds are great bonuses. One quote from Sherwin amazed me. Laughing has always seemed to me to be more Jewish than praying. If I had heard that in my 20s, I believe life would have been so much less stressful. So that can be Judaism. I thought it was all those rules and regulations, 4 sets of dishes, expensive kosher meat, and who not to date. Laughter, in fact, describes my dad's mode of operation. His life was working 12 hours each day, running his parents' neighborhood grocery store, and never getting the chance to go to college. But he found joy in the store, creating a neighborhood connection with a great diversity of people and sharing in their joys and sorrows. Finding secular humanistic Judaism as an adult brought me back to what I loved about Judaism: the stories, the history, the family gatherings, the food, the songs and the dancing, the laughing. I found out that you can focus on the culture and help it evolve as you wish. Any requirement of the Orthodox, it turns out, is at most a century or two old. The ancient rules aren't ours anymore anyway, like animal sacrifice. And New York City has a Korean woman rabbi. As a Sunday school director and then adult education committee member, I learned so much about Jewish people who contributed to American and global cultures in fundamental ways. By the way, I commend to you the podcast Amusing Jews for more of that education. I see Jonathan is on this call. Little plug, Jonathan. We read all about Jews, not only Torah portions. The Torah scrolls famously are in the libraries at the congregations that have temples, not elevated on the stage. I think it was 1999. I had the opportunity to set up question and answer sessions for our Sunday school kids when Rabbi Wein came to town. It was great. The kids prepared with their teachers questions in advance, and Sherwin was game for all of it. He met first with kindergarten and first graders, then second and third, and so on. He talked to very attentive 5-year-olds. He talked to skeptical bar mitzvah students. He talked to adults, and he didn't miss a beat as his audiences changed. That's not easy. A kindergartner asked him about God. Sherwin said, "When we look for answers, we don't look up there. We look in." She finished his sentence. The rabbi. Oops. He only flushed for a moment. And then he said, "Everyone point like this to their bellies." Great save. A 6th grader asked, "Why isn't Sunday school fun?" No defensiveness there. Sherwin said, "The purpose of life is not to have fun." Then he repeated it. The purpose of life is not to have fun. But when you find your purpose, every day can be fun. I've stayed in Humanistic Judaism for 38 years so far because it's still fun and quite rewarding. I especially want to thank Rabbi Miriam Jerist and Rabbi Jeremy Kreidel for their guidance, the wonderful people on the SHJ board and staff, and Machar's board and staff, those past and present, and especially Michael Perval, who helped me see through a secular perspective. It does take a while to figure out, what are these people doing? I'm so glad that Elaine Dances, Joyce Rosenthal, and Deb Godden participated tonight and are principled, committed, and loving people all. And I'm so grateful to my husband, Michael, and my son, Alex, who were willing to share me with my passion for humanistic Judaism. Although Alex did point out he was probably the only kid in the Jewish Cultural School with perfect attendance since I was driving him there as the director. Sorry. Thanks to all of you who are here. It feels great to share this with you. It's like a bat mitzvah without the thank you notes. So, what do you do after you get a Lifetime Achievement Award? I don't know. I'm thinking, since I just watched the American Revolution, I'll get on my horse like Thomas Jefferson and ride back to the farm. Thank you.
That's wonderful. This was amazing. We have a closing song, and then I am willing to stay online with all of you for 15, 20, 30 minutes so that you can share your enthusiasm and excitement with Marlene. So, Paul, do we have a chance of getting that? Oh, look at that. You're going to sing mute.
I was so close.
You were.
Peace be with you wherever you go. Peace be with you whatever you do. Peace be with you till we meet again. Peace be with you, my friend. Love be with you wherever you go. Love be with you whatever you do. Love be with you till we meet again. Love be
Well, I'm feeling very inspired and excited. Um, I think there's a lot of people here. Maybe we should work with hands up if you want to say something to Marlene. Marlene, you just stay unmuted. And oh, Michael would like to speak. How about you go first, Michael?
I appreciate it, Miriam. The first thing I want to do is apologize to all of the SHJ and Machar folks who are on the call. I didn't mean to take your Kohen away from you. In fact, I didn't even know I was doing it. So I've learned some things too. You know, I certainly agree with everything that's been said about Marlene. But in addition to all the things that you've heard, she really is the perfect life partner, at least for me. I can't imagine anyone who shares my temperament, my silliness, my curiosity more than her. And I'm not saying that just because my first wife was insane, but, Marlene and I really see the world the same way. When people find out we were both college debate coaches, they sometimes say, "Oh, you must have god awful arguments," and we both say, "No, we hate to argue. We enjoy intellectual exchange to try and find the truth, but arguing is not a way of life." So anyway, Marlene, congratulations. I can't think of anybody that deserves the award more. And, if I had a Lifetime Achievement Award to give, you would get that one too. Thank you.
Thank you, dear.
You can just mute and speak up, I think, if you would like to say something to Marlene.
Okay. I'm muted. Let's start speaking. Hey, this is Diana Schneidman, and I'm Marlene's double first cousin. Our mothers are sisters, our fathers were brothers, and we lived like 3 blocks apart, and we were in all the same grade and all the same schools, synagogues, and everything else. And as a child, Marlene was known as that Marlene. And is a lot very similar to all the characteristics that you recognized in her. She showed these at a very young age. She had spunk. She'd fight back or argue back. She didn't fight. She argued back, and she was an inspiration. And we so enjoyed Alex's bar mitzvah. Never had seen anything like it before or since. It was a remarkable event, which really showed a lot of emphasis on learning and issues and thought and communications. And so congratulations, Marlene.
Thank you.
So I just wanted to, I'm Marlene's brother, and I've been proud of her my entire life. And she's been a great sister. And Bonnie here has learned a lot about her and feels the same way.
Sister-in-law.
Yes, more like a sister than a sister-in-law.
Yeah.
And as Diana said, there was that phrase in our family, that Marlene. And as I heard all the speeches today, that's what reminded me of, because after every 2 sentences, you can say, that Marlene. Our family was generally adverse to risk. Marlene was not. And Marlene was always diligent. I particularly remember when she was 16 and decided she was going to get a job. And, most kids, they were going to get some half-assed job, spend an hour a week working, and that's going to be it. Not Marlene. She was out every morning, all day, looking for a job. And as was mentioned, our parents had a small grocery store, worked long hours. So the one thing they did not want her to do was be in the grocery business. So she came home one day, she got a job. She worked at an inner city butcher shop selling hog's head and pig's feet and those kind of items. They were a little shocked. The trash man would come down the street and say, "Hi, Marlene, how are you?" So she was always on the cutting edge. And it's always been great having her as a sister.
That's lovely.
I tried to use my college as a high school, right, experience as a background, and all that helped is, you have experience with a cleaver. Okay.
My name is Gail Rose, and I'm a childhood friend of Marlene's. Not only a childhood friend, but also we were college roommates for a while. And I just want to add something to Marlene's list. Um, when we graduated from college, we decided we were going to go to a different state other than Ohio, and we had to take a test, a teacher's test. And so I got a B, and I was just, oh, that's great. I said, Marlene, what'd you get? She didn't want to tell me because she got a 99 plus. So, I mean, Marlene is not, she's real. She is just a real, authentic, and humble person. And yours, we are all so lucky to be in Marlene's life. Muzzle tough, Marlene.
Thank you, Gail. And Gail is a star cantor in Columbus, Ohio. So if you get to Columbus, I'll tell you how to look her up.
Great.
Hi, Marlene. It's your oldest friend, Barbara, from Canton, Ohio, where I'm going back tomorrow. That's why I'm dressed to go to bed soon. I'm going to go visit the family. I want to just say you have always been a superwoman to me, a superhero, and I am proud to be your friend for since kindergarten. You are the greatest. I love you, and there's no one more deserving than you for this.
Thanks, Barbara. And thanks for sharing your grandchildren with me that weekend. Great fun. I've been slobbered on for years. No pressure.
I'll jump in if can you hear me? Okay. Well, I agree with everything everybody said, and this is you are the most deserving person to get tribute / lifetime achievement. And if celebrities can write memoirs when they're 40, you have another whole life ahead of you too. So I'll just add that both of our daughters were coached by Marlene for their B'nai Mitzvah ceremonies. It was so priceless to watch. And Marlene coached our younger daughter in the social action committee to step forward and get hard to take on gun violence prevention. I remember how you worked with her on our position statement when she was 13. And you continue to this day with the social action committee, just everything that's been said about your enthusiasm and the can-do attitude, for letter writing for the Virginia voters and every other thing that you bring your zest to. And the last thing I just wanted to note is it's been a great boon for me that you live far away, because we have so cherished your visits when you and Michael or you solo have stayed with us. But if you decide to move back to this area, that would be even better. So, mazel tov.
Thanks, Mimi. Yes, you guys are so great about sharing your house with us. And it helps that her husband's a jazz pianist, so we can listen to him practicing when we come over at midnight.
Alex.
I just want to, I don't have a lot to say, but I just want to say congratulations. I know Machar has been a really big part of your life for as long as I can remember. And I can think of a lot of times that I wanted your attention and you were busy with Machar stuff. So I think it's very right that you are getting honored in this way. And I'm very happy for you. And nice to see everybody. And congratulations.
Thank you, dearie. That hurts a little. Over here.
That was not my intention.
Okay. Appreciate it. Alex is such a good communicator. I learn from you now. It's great.
Well, I don't know, Marlene, are we out of words?
Could be. We could be.
Yeah. So
A
this
couple
is,
of
George,
people
George
have their
has his
hands
hand
up.
up.
oh, George,
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
George.
I'd like to say a few words about Marlene. Hi there, kiddo.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Hi.
We couldn't be more proud of you. I have to agree with everything everybody here tonight said. And I was especially happy to hear people mention No Kings protests and women's marches and things like that, because that's really one of my first memories of Marlene. You were maybe still in school at Ohio State at the time. This was way back in the early 70s. There was a thing called a war on in a little place called Vietnam. And we had to stay up late on a Friday night till one of our party got off work. Then we got in my car and drove through the night to Washington, D.C. to be at the Capitol the next morning with the Vietnam vets against the war who threw their medals back on the Capitol steps and said, "We don't want this stinking war." We spent the night on the floor of George Embry's house in suburban DC. He was our Washington bureau chief at the Dispatch. And then we drove all the way back to Columbus the next day. So you could go back to school and I could go back to work that night. And I think I knew then you were very special and we're going big places. And I can't tell you how proud we are of you. Mazel tov.
Thanks. Thanks so much. Ooh, Mazel tov. Woo, good job.
I just want
That
to
was lovely.
quickly mention that absolutely we are so lucky to have Marlene as our member. And when Marlene comes to the area, we have competition who she's going to stay with. I was over my house, Mimi and some other people say, please come stay with us. So there is a competition going on. It's always good to spend time with Marlene.
Thanks so much, Elaine.
Yeah. I see three hands. Rick, Betty, Susan.
Of course, Marlene has inspired me through most of my adult life. But I wanted to talk a bit about my kids who attended Jewish cultural school starting from about 1999 to about 2004 or 5. And when Marlene was principal, uh, it was just an amazing cultural environment where they became very proud of their Jewish identity and really committed in many ways to social justice and caring. And they pursued that through much of their lives. My son, Adam, who is 30 now, and he's still autistic, but Marlene gave him special attention and helped him to grow and helped him to adapt. And it really was quite meaningful to him in terms of being, increasing his self-confidence. And we see that today where he's teaching as a preschool teacher and just very proud of what he's doing. So thank you so much, Marlene.
That's great to hear. Thank you, Rick. You are so committed. It's great.
Hi, my name's Betty Holliday. I am very thankful for this invitation. I have known Mike and Marlene and Alex for many, 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 many years. And this is a whole side of Marlene that I just never really knew. So it's been a real learning experience for me just to watch you and listen to all of Marlene's accomplishments. I'm a member of the Unitarian Church, another secular humanist organization. So I can identify somewhat, but I love the cultural implications within your organization. I will tell a story years and years and years ago when Marlene was a young mother. She came up to the hills of East Tennessee on her way to another destination with Alex in tow. And they were just so delightful. Alex did stay up a lot of the night crying, and Marlene apologized in the morning. And I'm like, no, 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 no. Southern hospitality all the way. And I'm just so thankful that she and Mike are in my life still. We visited at the beach 2 or 3 years ago. But I am just so proud of you, Marlene. I don't know how you found the time. You know, we're talking an Energizer bunny here, but I'll just say hi to the three of you again, since I don't get much of a chance to do that. Thank you. Congrats, Marlene.
Thank you, Betty. It's really nice of you to come. We were on our way to Nashville then because Michael's dad was dying, and I wanted him to have more time with baby Alex. And it worked out great
Yeah.
to be able to stop at your house.
Yeah, it was, well, better memory than mine. There we go. Right there.
So Susan Ryan and then Leslie Miller.
First of all, Marlene Mazel Tov, very proud of you and very
Thanks.
glad to be able to call you my friend. I went back and actually looked to figure out how long I've known you, and I've known you since I've been on the SHJ board, which is about 13, 14 years at this point. You're one of the first people I met. You made me feel welcome. You made me feel like I could make a difference. And I'm still here, so I guess something clicked. And I'm just really happy to be able to call you and Michael my friends. You've stayed with us. I know when Elaine and Mimi were saying how people always want you to stay with them. You came and you stayed with us a couple of times, and we had a wonderful time hosting you. And I remember going to look at the light show at the Time Warner Center in Columbus Circle with you, and sitting there and recording the video of the lights changing with the music, and giving you and Michael my walking tour, my Beatles walking tour of New York City. Funnily enough, with another couple from the Netherlands. So we had Marlene and Michael and Maureen and Michael on the same tour, which was interesting to say the least. If I hollered Michael, two guys would turn around. And if I wasn't careful what I said, I'd confuse the other two. But anyway, I just want to thank you for being my friend, for making me feel welcome when I joined the SHJ board, for making me laugh and being happy and making me feel like I could do things, because sometimes I need somebody to give me the swift kick to the tush, and seeing you do things and make them happen have made me feel that I can do things too. And I just am so proud of you for getting this award. And again, Mazel Tov.
Thank you, Suzanne. Thank you.
Okay, Leslie.
Leslie?
You need to unmute.
This is Michael's sister. I'll tell you all the bad stories before she talks. You're on mute, Leslie.
I wouldn't be surprised if she stepped out of the room for a sec, like a lot of people do, thinking that.
I think her
Yeah.
phone doesn't connect to the video, is what I'm guessing.
Uh-huh.
Okay, all you tech people, give her advice.
Exactly.
If she unmutes, she should be able to speak with you.
Yeah, Leslie, click on the microphone with the red line so we can hear you.
I know, do I have that power?
Miriam, you can't unmute her, but you can request that she unmute.
I did that.
Ah, okay. That's all you can do.
Okay. Well, let's go to Darlene. And if Leslie gets connected, we'll get back to her.
Hi.
Okay.
Hi.
Hi, Darlene.
Hey, babe. I just wanted to say that I probably have a different perspective than everybody else up here because I was your long-term colleague at Prince George's Community College. Marlene and I worked together for many years, and I had the privilege of having her across the hall from me. And so she and I shared many stories, some good, some more difficult, like the time her office flooded from the bathroom that was right next door to her office. And she had my sympathy because I used to have all kinds of horrible smells from that same area. But what I watched with Marlene was her interaction with all of the people that came through our hallway, of which there were many. For example, she did run the International Student Center, and I watched her help so many students that would not have made it through college, would not have been in this country had it not been for Marlene. She knew how to help and when to help, and I know that she still does today. I know that she has contacts with people who no longer live in this country, but want to speak with her and tell her what's happening in their lives. So just as she is so important to me, and she and I do spend a long time, every time we're on the phone for at least an hour. I know she is to many other people, and she will make a bigger difference in this world than most of us, myself included. So I wanted to tell you, thank you, my love, for being my friend and my colleague all these years.
And speaking of other people,
Yes.
I'm Darlene's husband, Andrew, and Marlene has worked with me at the University of Maryland in the communication department. And when she was working on her doctorate, she did a study on listening, which is my area of research. And I've always appreciated that, and I've always thought that she and I really should get together and do a book.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Thanks, Andy. Did we lose Leslie?
Well, she just has to be admitted, so I readmitted her. She's here somewhere.
We could
Down,
start
down here at the bottom.
We could start again.
Hey guys, am I unmuted?
Yes.
Yay.
Oh, yay. Okay.
Yay. We can hear you, dear.
I have a new provider, and so I'm having a little issues getting things set up, but I'm glad I'm here. I think I'm the one that needs the award because I tell everyone that will listen that if I could have handpicked a sister-in-law, it would be Marlene Cohen. And I'm probably going to cry because I always do. But it's just the truth. She is supportive. She is my best friend. I just love her to death. And I'm so proud to have her as part of the family. I could tell so many stories, some she wouldn't want me to. But so this Jewish girl from the north comes down to Nashville, Tennessee to meet our family. And the first thing my stepdad has her do at Thanksgiving is to carve the ham. So, she just stepped right in because, of course, she grew up in a butcher shop and she was able to do it. So I don't think she's ever learned to like grits very much, but she likes chess pie and she participates in our Christmas celebrations. And my children and my grandchildren love her so much. They just say it wouldn't be the holidays without Uncle Mike and Aunt Marlene. And I'm so proud of you. And this doesn't surprise me at all that you got this award. You're so deserving. And I've got to tell this one story. My mom, who was a very devout United Methodist, she would drag us all to the midnight service on Christmas Eve. And there was one especially icy Christmas Eve, and I think it was a midnight service. So Marlene is holding on to my mom to walk across the parking lot. My mom's in her 80s, and she slipped and fell. And so we all ended up at the emergency room that night on Christmas Eve. And we're sitting there waiting. And I looked at my mom and I said, "Are you okay?" And she said, "Well, Marlene was supposed to be hanging on to me." And Marlene said, "Oh, sure, blame the Jew on Christmas." So it was, she, she's one of us, and we've had so many fun times together, and I look forward to so many more. And thank you, Alex, for having her as your mom, and thank you, brother, for choosing her as your wife. I love you bunches.
Thank you, Leslie.
Well, I have many thank yous, certainly to all of you who participated, Elaine and Rabbi Jeremy and Deb and Joyce and Marlene. This obviously would not have been possible without you. And it's been very interesting to me to listen to people from all walks of your life, from Ohio to Nashville to your professional life. And the themes are all the same, and that is your your joie de vivre, your will, your can-do attitude, as Paul said. And we are just so thankful that you have chosen us, and the Society for Humanistic Judaism to dedicate so much of your time and energy. We're the lucky ones, that's for sure. I want to thank everybody here tonight for being part of this, and I believe I know how to save the chat, so there are some really nice messages in the chat that I will send to you.
Great.
And for SHJ board members, we'll see you all at noon tomorrow, Eastern time. And for
Tomorrow, I'll be working at SHJ, just to clarify.
Right.
Before I get on the horse and ride back to the farm, I got to be secretary tomorrow.
And for those of you who are joining us at 2:30, we look forward to seeing you then. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much. This was beautiful.
Love you, Marlene.
I really appreciate it.
Thank you,
Love you
Marlene.
all. Thank you.